in buck. Woman pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still dem talk say make we no talk, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us tonight. It is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And from wherever you are joining, please share this. Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. Share it. Like it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Okay? Tell them. Mayegun today. Nigeria have no government. There is no government in Nigeria. A professor in Democratic Institute in Nigeria has uttered this. He said he's not even just talking about Tifnumbu. He's talking about the entire country. Nigeria is a place where criminals have hijacked, no doubt. But the manifestation of these rogues in power have come to one thing. They talk a lot and they do nothing. Okay? A professor. Happy 54th anniversary of the Biafra Day. Or if you would like to call it the Igbo Day. And that today make it a 54th year that Nigeria was kind of forced, okay, to stop the genocide that they were carrying out in eastern part of Nigeria at the time. So 54 years after, the war still rages on. Thank you. Mutide. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you, wherever you are joining me tonight. It is Mayegun Live. And I put this program together haphazardly somehow tonight. But I still kind of intend to make the best of it because I've had a very wonderful day. I sort of joined the Biafrans in London earlier today to commemorate the 54th anniversary or remembrance of the people who died, the Biafrans who died during that the program, as well as the unprovoked genocide that took place. And honestly speaking, it was an atmosphere of love, brotherhood, sisterhood, family, community. And then right there as well, we had the convergence of love. Something to remind all of us that life itself is a struggle. However, if you choose your own struggle, choose your own battle, there is a possibility that you can win. But if you don't, what do you have to lose? Life is a battle anyway, right? A lot of us are battling with so many things, of course. But when you have to battle for freedom, it means a different thing entirely. And for those who have already sort of catch the bug, right? It is more or less like a salvation to the soul when they meet one another and to remind themselves that the struggle they choose, many have died for it. And because they died, did not mean the struggle is dead. Rather, it is waxing stronger. Nigeria continued to live in denial while using the same genocidal rhetoric that they did at the time that cost the lives of over 5 million Biafrans. The rhetoric is still being used today, which simply means Nigeria and the owners of Nigeria, they've never learned anything. People have died, millions. And that kind of makes the Biafrans, right, very dangerous if they finally choose to go a path that Nigeria is pushing them to. And I'm trying to be diplomatic here. People who have lost millions of people needlessly because Nigeria and the owners of Nigeria were carrying out ethnic cleansing and they called it civil war. You cannot threaten such people with death. Those of you who have never lost who have never lost thousands or hundreds of thousands of your fellow compatriots, women and children, to such what you have in Nigeria, a state-sponsored, ethnic profiling. You can't threaten people like that. You can't tell them that you will teach them a lesson. No. What Nigeria is sitting on is called the keg of a gunpowder. And I actually muted that myself, muted that at the event in London today. Just trying to kind of make all of us see something here. Okay? If you practically look at what you can call the grievances of the Biafrans, the Igbos in Nigeria, from the time immemorial, from the moment they have been forced to be part of this contraption, their marginalization, their complaint, and everything that they kind of detest and stand against most of the time, are what majority of us, the rest of Nigeria, are told to endure a systemic oppression, a systemic suppression, a systemic intentional poverty. Accept it. Wherever you are placed, stay there. Whatever they think you are is what they believe you are. If they say you are lower, then accept it. Kind of like, society like that. So I said, if all of us have not really been, we have not been victims of conditioning, right? As the Biafrans are demanding for equity, fairness, justice, or they will leave Nigeria, they want to go. The rest of us should be demanding for the same thing. Nigeria, which we have been part of, has never benefited anyone per se, except for the clan of criminals that comes from all over Nigeria, including the Igbo land too, the real enemies of the people. So we have nothing that we can really say, this is what we are going to lose if the Igbos leave. Anyway, I will come fully on that in the program later, where we're going to really commemorate and then, share the moment with the Biafrans. So instead of you inheriting the enemies of your dead or living criminal leaders, how about you begin to kind of look into their actions? And then you realize that except for them using you, right, to push the kind of agenda of ethnic, tribal, this, blah, 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 right? Except for them using you for that and then abandoning you, you practically means nothing. We mean nothing to them. So when you inherit their enemies, and somehow you feel like you are defending something that these same criminals don't actually respect, well, maybe programs like this can help you somehow. A person will no go here, no go here. When I was coming back from the airport, Agbeke picked me up with the kids. And I was live, because I was live before I boarded the plane. So, and then afterward, right, I went on to see few comments. And there was a person there who said, oh, so you are keeping your family abroad and you are trying to, and you are causing trouble in Nigeria. I will never take you serious until you bring your family down to Nigeria. If you are watching me, bro, I am not asking you, okay, to for any reason, right, go and fight your criminal leaders. That choice or that decision is yours, okay? And it is kind of old now and at the same time stupid, even though it is coming from the background of jealousy as well. For anybody who is facing what you are facing in Nigeria right now, I mean, if you are in Nigeria, to now still think or go on social media, right? And then tell those who are not experiencing what you are experiencing. I mean, I am not. I mean, maybe indirectly, sure. I am not a direct victim. I am indirect victim of the criminals in charge of Nigeria. It is so stupid for you to go on social media, and then be trolling people that live abroad, right? Who are speaking up, exposing, and like I do, exposing the criminals responsible for the state of Nigeria right now. And then you start asking them that they should come back and join you before you can demand for a better life. That is old. It is also so stupid. Okay? You don't need me, right, to go and demand for a safe country, safe and secure country, an economically viable country. You will benefit it, not me. Infrastructures that is built to support development, right? You will benefit it, not me. When they steal the money, right? And people like myself, okay, bring that to you to say, look what they are doing. If you don't have this, if your doctors are not well paid, if your nurses are not paid, if your teachers are not paid, if young people have no jobs, if your roads are terrible, if you have if your children can't really go to school and all of this, what is responsible is not what they tell you is. Because most of the time, they told majority of you say, like, the sin of your fathers, since the sins of your forefathers, blah, 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 blah. They need to break a yoke in your life. They need to do this and that. All that nonsense. I, Mayegun, chooses to tell you the truth. So whatever you now do with the truth, whatever you use it for, is yours. If you listen to me like you have been listening to me for years, okay, and you choose to be probably waiting for me, okay, to bring my family down to that shithole, that your shithole there that you hate being, being discussed, right? Then baba, ema kusinu oshi, kusinu ishe, kusinu iyanyi yeni then. I mean, I'm talking about those of you who are mostly like voluntary slaves here. If you are waiting for me, like even you reason them now, I have families, I have friends who are facing what you are facing in that place as well, right? So if they can't also go out there and fight for themselves, they can't even ask me to come and do it for them. Like, you do not need any activist. You do not need human rights fight. Nobody is fighting for anybody. If you can't fight for yourself, then just go and wait for your turn to die. Or maybe the sky daddy will save you. But here is something you should also know. The contraption that these criminals are destroying, the lives and the economy, all those things they are destroying in the state of Nigeria right now, people like us are the ones still keeping Nigeria alive. People may be asking, how does Nigeria survive? I mean, there's no country that is going through what Nigeria is going through that can survive. But what they are not acknowledging is the fact that as they are destroying Nigeria, they are what? They are adding to the load, the financial responsibilities of people like us here who won't like to see our families actually suffer. But left for your criminal leaders, Venezuela will be like heaven to what Nigeria will be like. Zimbabwe will be a place that some of you would prefer to trek to and live. But it's all right. We are the troublemakers. Okay? We are the ones who don't wish Nigeria well. And your criminal leaders, from your governors to your, all of them, you are watching them as slaves watches their masters abuse, assault, and defile them. You are so weak. People like this, so you see, when they come here and they are like, why don't you come back home? Why don't you come back home? These are weak people that are, we call them the comfortable slaves, voluntary slaves. These are the paper dogs that do not have the liver to look at their criminal leaders and tell them they deserve better. But rather, they will just look at you and say, why are you always complaining? Instead of you to pray for them. Or they will just turn to you and be like, hey, okay, Nigeria, every time we blame politics, we blame our leader. He is not blaming their leaders. The Olorubukus don't blame their leader. They praise them. Then they will say, okay, what have you done? How many people have you helped? How many roads have you? One even asked me one day that this Mayegun that is talking, he has not constructed even 1 single kilometer road in his village. If we are checking it now, not even a single borehole. He has not constructed a single borehole in his town. He's here condemning government, always condemning government. That's what I'm talking about. Since I came to the UK, I had no reason to say I need to dig my own borehole or look for somebody who can dig one for us before I can have water. but they are not sad, unhappy that the criminals ruining their lives couldn't give them water. And they can ask because they believe that they won't do it, Jerry. But when you try to hold these criminals responsible and hold them that you need to give them water, what kind of thing is this? This Ashire Dabimoshe Das will turn around and be like, you, Nko, leave them alone. Government cannot do anything. You, Mayegun, how many boreholes have you built? This is how they are programmed. They will loot their money. Money meant for road construction, money meant for building hospitals or schools, or they will steal the money. For example, loot the money for education, then turn to a philanthropist who paid the school fees of a few hundred people. Meanwhile, the money for education could actually take care of millions of poor people. But you looted the money. Then you turn yourself to philanthropist who now gives scholarship to few hundred people, 100 kids. And they say you are doing well. Do you know what he has done on education? This man that you are criticizing, Mayegun, do you know how many people he has helped? Why do you need a politician that was elected to make your life better but looted the money? Why do you now need them to fund the lifestyle they've denied you? Why? But it is Nigeria. That's why we call it Nigeria. Where if you are trying to say you are fighting their oppressors, you have to use one hand. You cannot use two hands to fight their oppressors. You have to use one. So one fighting and the other one, protecting yourself from them. The people you think you are fighting for. So I am not stupid. I am not a madman. Here you get, when I know the craze, I will turn on my camera and call me and say, look at me. I am a human. I'm fighting for you. So what happened to you? What happened to you? You that is experiencing this, what happened to you? Why do you need somebody to act on your behalf? Well, it is how most of you are sort of raised and conditioned. But don't worry. The real people who will actually not wait for messiahs, they are already here. The generation that is not waiting for Messiah. They just need very, very detailed education, enlightenment, exposure, and understanding of what is really going on. Then they will deal with the problems themselves. Do you get that? They will. So there is this prof who is Professor Ibrahim Jubri or so. So he had this to say about the contraption. Let's start from there.
I think people are not really thinking in terms of party. They are thinking in terms of government. And government has made promises to deliver, and government is not delivering. But what people are really thinking about is the precariousness of their lives. One, being on the road, traveling, even sitting in your house, people coming with arms, kidnap you, take you away for ransom. And the extended family have to sell all their properties to raise money to try to rescue you. And just to make you doubt whether there's any point in rescue, sometimes the ransom is paid and they kill you anyway. The other issue is the spread of violence and criminality which remain unchecked all over the country. The cost of living has created a crisis in which people fall sick. Curing malaria today is a major endeavor because of the escalation of the costs of drugs. People wonder, why do Nigerians pray so much today? It's because they fall sick, they can't pay for drugs. So the only alternative for them is to pray. And prayer, of course, is good, but sometimes these malaria parasites refuse to listen to your powerful prayers. So it's this precariousness of life that you are unsafe in this country. And for a great number of Nigerians, the most basic sense of insecurity is they can't get their 3 square meals a day, and they are hungry a lot of the time. Are we surprised people get very angry and people fall into mental sickness because of the constraints they are living under? Those are really the issues. So we are now past thinking, is APC performing or not? People are saying, the fact of the matter, if the Constitution defines governance as the security and welfare of Nigerians, then we don't have government at all. What we have is people enjoying themselves at the top, taking care of themselves, but for the people, there's zero government. And this is a very dangerous situation for any country to be in, because self-help then becomes a generalized ideology. Increasingly, Nigerians are saying, let me look for money to buy arms. Now, as more and more people buy arms, what's going to happen? You're not going to reach the people in government. You're going to turn on your neighbor who has maybe just as little as you have, and you take the little your neighbor has. And that's the pathway to anarchy. That's the real risk we are facing in this country, is past whether this government is performing or not, but that people are in deep personal and family crisis, and they feel their survival is at stake, and they need to do something drastic if they are to continue to survive in this country.
If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen